Hey guys, hope you're doing well. As of this year, my car is officially 10 years old, and honestly, she's kind of driving like it. Not in the sense that she's driving poorly, but she's definitely showing her age. There is a very consistent rattle towards the passenger seat pillar area that I'm pretty sure is the shock mount. The vehicle just going over speed bumps will creak and make all these noises. And honestly, the dampening process is just not as smooth as it used to be. So to fix this, we're gonna be giving my suspension a full refresh along with some nice upgrades to make it perform even better than factory. Now, mind you, this is not even everything. This is just the stuff that fit on the table. So let me walk you through what we've got. So this is what I would consider a casual refresh for the suspension, plus some nice upgrades, but I'll make that distinction for you guys here in a sec. Now, this is by no means the end all be all. If you want to go more in depth or even go, say, full suspension rebuild, you absolutely can. Or if you want to go more budget friendly, that's also good. So starting off, we have the handling kit from Steeda. Now, it consists of lowering springs and a strut tower brace. Now, this definitely actually did help out in the budget aspect because these are things I was actually looking at initially, and they actually came on sale for Valentine's Day for $385 for the bundle, which these lowering springs retail for around $300 to $340 depending on where you're buying from, and then the strut tower brace I've seen for like $160-ish. So being able to get both of these for $385 and free shipping was a big plus. Now, basically, lowering springs are going to lower the overall ride height of the vehicle, not significantly, roughly about an inch. And with that, you'll actually get better handling because the center of gravity is lower. And then obviously it'll look better just because, it's going to be a little bit lower, which is something I know a lot of you guys have been asking about for a long time. And little side note, but there is going to be a little bit of a bump in fuel economy. Nothing significant, probably not even noticeable, but whereas most things usually kind of take away from fuel economy, this is actually going to kind of help out because it is actually going to make the vehicle more aerodynamic. Now, the strut tower brace is exactly what it says it is. It is a brace connecting your two strut towers together. You kind of want to think of it as like whenever you're turning hard or taking a sharp turn, your strut towers are flexing a little bit. Now this brace is basically going to minimize that, make them a little bit more stiff, more controlled, so that way you can actually handle better, and in doing so actually eliminate a good bit of body roll. The lowering springs are going to be a really good combination, and the lowering springs are perfect for how I drive this vehicle because this is my daily, of course, and the general consensus from my friends that have these lowering springs is that these are going to give you the best overall ride quality while still giving you all the performance upside of lowering springs. Now, the easiest part of this entire project is definitely going to be the strut tower brace because it's really just securing it into position, and you have direct access right off the bat because it sits on top of the engine bay. You'll see it has two holes right here on this side, and it is mirrored on the other side with another two holes. Those are where the bolts go, so it's 4 bolts total, and it really is just securing it into position. Now you might notice I already have some equipment on my strut towers. These are actually my hood struts, also from Steeda. These I really like because Ford never made hood struts an option on this car, so Steeda decided to fix that. So if you're gonna do any DIY jobs, they're a really nice piece to have. Plus, they clean up your engine bay, they're really easy to install, and they're pretty inexpensive as well. If you have both the hood struts and the tower brace is just gonna sit on top of the hood struts pretty casually. So basically all you're gonna do is undo the bolts, sandwich them together, redo the bolts. That's basically it. You're just gonna do it for both sides. Being that it's just 4 bolts, all you're gonna need is a ratchet and a 10mm socket. Now, one thing that I'm doing is I'm not tightening the bolts down all the way just yet because I do need a little bit of movement to be able to get everything lined up perfectly. Once everything's lined up, that's whenever I can tighten it down all the way. And that is the strut tower brace installed. Honestly, if you didn't know too much about this car, you might think that it came with it because it fits really well and looks very OEM plus, if you ask me. So it's one down. Now, suspension work can get pretty expensive pretty quickly, but what does not need to be expensive is your wireless plan, and that's where my partner Mint Mobile comes in. You can join the nation's largest 5G network for as little as $15 a month, and switching is super easy, only takes about 15 minutes. The thing is, they sell directly to you online, so you can switch from the comfort of your own home, your garage, or while you're waiting for your car to get in alignment. What makes switching super easy is that they use digital eSIM cards, which means you don't need to go to a physical store to activate your phone. And if your phone is for whatever reason not compatible with eSIM, they'll send you a physical SIM card free of charge. Now, one of the best things in my opinion is that every single plan they sell comes with unlimited talk and text, lightning fast 5G, and free mobile hotspot. They even have family plans with as little as 2 lines. If you're interested in reliable coverage and fast data for a fraction of the cost, go to trymintmobile.com/Tito to get started. I also have it linked in the description box down below. You can also scan this QR code right here. I want to give a big shout out to Mint. Now back to the video. Next up, we have new shocks and struts from Motorcraft, which is Ford's own part company. And you can see the Ford Motor Company stamping on all of these. You just gotta find it. I went with everything either being Motorcraft or Steeda, so it's either OEM or an upgrade from OEM. My dad, I think, puts it best when he says, if you're keeping the car, what you should do is get original equipment. If you're selling it, that's when you can use the cheap stuff. But this is all just directly from Motorcraft. Now, these are directly responsible for the dampening process of the vehicle. Basically, if you're going over uneven roads, speed bumps, whatever it may be, the reason you're not feeling it all over the cabin is thanks to these guys. And if you're replacing these, it definitely helps to replace their mounts as well. So these are the shock mounts and the strut mounts. But the good thing about replacing these is you can definitely feel it when you need to replace them. So here we are. These are a set of end links from Steeda, so a nice little upgrade. These actually connect your sway bar to your suspension, and these are actually adjustable, so if you have a lowered car, these are perfect for you. And the beauty of them is that they are a direct replacement to your factory end links, and as Steeda says, they do not add any NVH, so noise, vibration, or hardness. Next up, we have a set of control arms. Now, full disclosure, I didn't want to get the whole control arm. I just wanted to replace the ball joints. But for the Fusion, unfortunately, the ball joints cannot be separated from the control arms. So if you want to replace the ball joints, you got to replace the whole thing. So here we are. And lastly, we have a new set of tie rods. So the inner tie rods are the same, so you can just get two of the same one. However, for the outers, you do need a left and a right. Now the tie rods, what they do is they connect the suspension to the steering, and they're actually probably the cheapest part of this entire job. Now this is a job you can do at home, but we are on a schedule, and our friends at the shop said they could actually have the car ready by tomorrow, so we're gonna let them knock it out. Now I'm gonna link everything in the description box down below. However, for some of the OEM parts, I bought them on Rock Auto, so I can't actually like put that link down there because it's basically like a catalog, but I'll put their part number just so you guys can find them pretty easily.
The next day.
Not even 24 hours later, the car is ready. It's looking awesome, aside from being dirty. They're already working on another Fusion, as is the shop next door, so I think they're coming on to it. This is what 10 years of driving and 200,000 miles is going to get you with your suspension. And honestly, it doesn't look too bad. I definitely think that some of these components could have been replaced a little bit earlier, but the car was still very drivable. It's really just that you want to get the best experience when you're driving. And while not all these parts are bad, just trying to be efficient and lean a little bit more towards preventative maintenance. With the suspension work complete, the most important part is to now get in alignment. You want to get in alignment as soon as you can right after doing suspension work, because you don't want to put any unnecessary wear on the new tires or the freshly installed components. We are easing our way back into the Fusion restoration, which I say restoration very, very lightly, but the biggest one on here in my opinion was the suspension, because that's stuff that's going to get super, super in-depth. So being able to check that off after the alignment's going to be really nice. I do hope we got rid of that C-pillar rattle as well. It does look like it was a shock mount, so we'll be able to check that out here in a second. Update, rattle is gone. It feels awesome to say that, but I'm here at Sonic getting a recharger because we do have a long day ahead of us. If you haven't tried these yet, it's a dragon fruit recharger from Sonic. It's Sprite, Red Bull, and dragon fruit flavoring. It's awesome. Unfortunately, we got turned down from NTB because this is new. They said the car was too low, which I wouldn't consider it low, but it is lowered because of the lowering springs. And talking to Jesse, it's just the fact that it is lowered, plus the wheels and tires are a little bit beefier than usually come on this car. But what I also learned about alignment shops is that some of them use equipment that mounts to the tire, so you do need enough space on top of your tire to be able to get the machine in there, whereas others mount specifically to the wheel, which is more of a performance/tuning shop thing. So we did find a place called Mercar Auto out in Terrell, Texas that says they can do it, so we're gonna swing by. I think we're in the right place. Well guys, there goes my plans to wash the car. I wanted to do a nice little review with the car clean, but it looks like it's gonna have to wait. However, on the good side, the suspension work is done, the alignment is complete, so I want to give a big shout out to Hazel over at Mercar Auto. He did an awesome job, and honestly, it was really cool seeing all the other cars that he's working on. And the little cherry on top, the rattle is gone. Now, for all the time that I've had this car, this is the best it's ever felt in driving because it feels super capable, super responsive, and honestly really smooth, even with the lowering springs. Now, I'll be able to take it driving this weekend, so I'll have a little bit more of an in-depth video next week talking about the handling kit, but just overall, I'm really, really happy with how this car has come together. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. And don't worry, we are going to be addressing the headlights here soon-ish.